West Virginia, TCU ready to get it going. It's been raining off and on today. Let's take a look at West Virginia needs, what they need to do to be game ready. Brought to you by Cintas. Let's send it down to Dr. Jerry Bunch.
Thanks, Mark. If you're a head coach, how do you game plan for rainy weather and slick field conditions? Mountaineer head coach Neil Brown said, we're playing on natural grass today. We don't have natural grass in Morgantown to practice on. It's all turf. And the last time we played on natural grass in Oklahoma, it didn't go well for us, but they're going to try to help the footing today with a shoe change. Players came out early on with this molded turf cleat. Didn't like it. They were slipping and sliding. Many of them have changed to this detachable cleat, which is more of a grass shoe. And here's better news for West Virginia. This brand new grass here is a Bermuda mix. It has a very thick sand base, much like a large putting green. It drains really well, so hopefully the footing will be fairly consistent all afternoon.
Doc, it's kind of ironic. West Virginia, beautiful state, a lot of grass, a lot of green. They can't find any grass to practice on. All artificial turf. That's a touchback off the leg of Casey Legg. West Virginia, which won the toss and deferred. So TCU wearing the black jerseys today. Going to get the football to start. And true freshman quarterback Max Duggan.
Just the second true freshman to ever start games for Gary Patterson here at TCU. He's been a guy that, especially in the last few weeks, the last month of the season, has helped ignite this offense with his legs. But we know they're going to want to get him some easy completions early and get him in rhythm.
He's from across the Mississippi River from Omaha, Council Bluffs, Iowa. Come out with Darius Anderson in the backfield. Again, it's a blackout, so black jerseys for TCU today, and West Virginia wearing their road whites. Anderson gets the carry, goes off left tackle, and picks up one or two up towards the 27-yard line. Josh Chandler there to make the hit for West Virginia.
That flash of white you saw in the TCU backfield is going to be a presence there you'll see all day. The last name Stills we'll get to know. Darius Stills, number 56. That time getting some good push in the interior, forcing that run to bounce. Him and his brother are going to factor strongly into this one.
His younger brother, Dante Stills, who wears number 55. They motion out Anderson. There's a pass to Pro Wells. Trying to break a tackle, but he's wrapped up by the legs there at the 31-yard line. He'll pick up about 5 or 6. Tyke Smith on the stop.
And that's what Sonny Cumbie, their offensive coordinator, was telling us last night when we had a chance to talk to them. He wants to do a good job with drive starters, with plays early in series and early downs, getting easy completions for his quarterback, getting his feet under him, getting him some confidence.
TCU's been good on third down this year, but not last week against Oklahoma. They were just 1 of 9. But 49% conversion on third down on the season prior to the OU game last week. Lua gets the carry on 3rd and 2. And the big guy has the first down by a couple of yards. Shewo Lua. He's 6'3", 240 pounds. He's a good guy to give the ball to, Mike, on 3rd and short.
This guy is an absolute monster. Bruce Feldman puts out his list of physical freaks every year, and this guy was probably as easy a choice as Bruce has had in quite a while. Squatted 705 pounds twice.
That's insane.
I'm sore just thinking about it.
So first down for the Frogs on their first possession, and Anderson trying to weave his way through. Gets up to the 39-yard line, met there by Kerry Martin.
You mentioned third down difficulties against Oklahoma. Part of that reason for TCU last week was the fact that they were so inefficient on 1st and 2nd down. So you're dealing with so many 3rd and longs. West Virginia's ability to make some of those splash plays behind the line of scrimmage early in these series is going to be a big difference maker.
Motion Tay Barber to the near side. Now comes back, and he is going to not take the handoff. That's kept by Duggan, who will slide down. The slide began at the 43, which is where he'll be marked down. He slid all the way to the 46. It's going to be another 3rd down. It was 3rd and 2 on the previous 3rd down. This one's going to be a little longer, 3rd and 4.
You're going to see that motion on that series coming back across the formation to try and put these linebackers in a bind in space. And when you've got a mobile quarterback like that, all you need is a moment of hesitation for him to get big yards and a more manageable 3rd down.
3rd and 4. Lua back in the backfield for TCU. Duggan looks to throw, fires, Reagan, it's intercepted! Picked off by West Virginia. Tyke Smith Went in and out of the hands of Rager, and Smith all the way down near the 15-yard line. Sean Mahone knocked it out.
Duggan trying to fit into the tight window there. Hits Rager right in the hands, but just a great job separating man from ball by Sean Mahone there, getting it to his buddy, and now putting West Virginia in a great opportunity inside the red zone for their first offensive possession.
Second interception of the year for Tyke Smith, and the West Virginia offense comes out after the turnover for TCU, and their first possession begins at the 14-yard line of the Frogs. Jared Dagey, the junior transfer from Bowling Green, making his third consecutive start. He finds the open man, and that is caught by Sean Ryan. He's down inside the 5 to the 4. Looks like it may be first and goal. That's close to the sticks. It is first and goal after a 10-yard gain.
Jared Dagey got the start, his first start against Kansas State. Has started the last 2 games and been perfect so far. No turnovers yet for a quarterback making his third start in a West Virginia uniform.
5 TD passes, no picks. Here's the fade going towards the corner, the end zone, and in and out of the hands of Sam James, who has been the most frequent target this year for whomever the West Virginia quarterback has been.
Leads the team in catches, 66 on the year coming into this season. Just a redshirt freshman. I had Neil Brown earlier in the season said, felt like we were asking more of Sam than was fair to him at this point in his career, but that hasn't stopped them from looking at him early and often. Him and George Campbell are 2 guys we can expect to hear from often this day. Number 15, the Florida State transfer.
Jeff Gladney had the coverage on that. He missed the first half of the OU game last week due to a targeting call. Here's a handoff, Letty Brown, not much there. Maybe a yard or so for Brown. Vernon Scott was there to bring him down. Brown is the sophomore back out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
This is a West Virginia team that averages only 2.6 yards per rush on the season. And so I understand close proximity here. Maybe you want to put it on the down, especially if you're thinking about 4-down territory. But I'd look to number 15, the 6'4" wide receiver, the Florida State transfer, George Campbell.
And Mike, West Virginia is a team that has struggled to score touchdowns in the red zone. They got a man wide open, Letty Brown touchdown. That's not the case here. And West Virginia does score. This drive started at the 14 in the red zone. And it's West Virginia, thanks to the turnover, that scores first.
And you use the attention paid to those 2 big receivers at the top of the screen to run that clear out. You see both of them working into the defensive backs coming across the field, and no one tracking with Letty Brown. And an easy pitch and catch coming off that turnover. 7 points off turnover for West Virginia early. Give them the lead.
Evan Staley on for the point after. And Letty Brown, his first receiving touchdown of the season, just his second touchdown catch of his career. Letty Brown touchdown catch has given West Virginia the early 7-0 lead here at Fort Worth. Coming up tomorrow afternoon, first place in the Big Ten West and a berth in the Big Ten title game against Ohio State on the line. Number 12, Wisconsin, they're 8-2, a game behind 9-1, and number 8, Minnesota. They square off at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ABC and the ESPN app. That is going to be a fun game to watch.
Whole lot of Midwest beef on the field.
Exactly
for
right.
that game. Jonathan Taylor, that big Wisconsin offensive line, see if they can bust up the Gopher season.
You know, PJ Fleck's team, they don't count them out of the CFP yet.
If you are in the Big Ten or the SEC, you control your own destiny. Congratulations.
Casey,
although the Big 12 might have something to say.
That goes out of bounds. Casey Legg, third time this year he's kicked one out of bounds. Let's check in with the studio, get an update from the fellas. Matt Berry.
Okay, guys, good afternoon. First, let's check in on Boise State, Colorado State. Jalen Henderson to C.D. Thomas to break the tie. Boise State up 14-7 in this one. Over on ABC, Cincinnati and Memphis. Ben Bryant to Leonard Taylor. Cincinnati climbs back into it, now down 17-10 to Memphis.
Matt, appreciate that. Due to the kick out of bounds, TCU is going to start this drive at their own 35-yard line. By the way, that interception, the 9th from Max Duggan on that first possession. He's going to hand it off to Darius Anderson. Finds a big hole Gains about 10 all the way up to the 45. I say that, but I don't think you can put the fault of the interception on Duggan. That just came out of the hands of Rager.
No, exactly. And Jalen Rager, one of the more trusted targets on this team.
TCU with some tempo. Pass out to Tay Barber. And he's into West Virginia territory to the 48. Picks up 7. Tackled by Kerry Martin.
Tay Barber, a guy who's been a definite security blanket for Duggan since he came back into the lineup. In his last 6 games, over 350 yards receiving. He's been a guy right there in step with Rager. It's 2 great options for a young quarterback.
2nd down and 3 for TCU. West Virginia looking like they're going to bring 5. Anderson gets about 1.5 yards and a flag comes out. We'll see about the flag. TCU trying to forget the first quarter last week at Oklahoma. It was a disaster.
Holding, number 69. Offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
It's on the center, Coy McMillan, and they're hoping that this first quarter against West Virginia isn't the same. Last week, Mike, against Oklahoma, they had 3 total yards in the first quarter. They were down 14-0. In fact, they got down 21-0 when Oklahoma scored early in the second quarter. But made it a game and had a chance to win at the end.
And I think that's been the frustration for Gary Patterson. As you see the spurts of great play, it's just got to be more consistent.
Well, the holding penalty puts him behind the chains. 2nd and 13. Pressure. Duggan being pursued. Rolls out and just fires it at the feet of the intended receiver, Stevens, just to get rid of it. Dante Stills, that's the younger Stills brother who was the one bringing the heat that time.
Always a difficulty when you're running these protections where you've got a lineman moving, a puller trying to pull the eyes of the linebackers around. You see Coy McMillan, the center, number 69, trying to get around there on the edge, but it opens up a seam. And Dante and Darius Stills both no stranger to working those seams into big-time backfield plays.
TCU went 1 of 2 on 3rd down on that first possession, but this is a 3rd and 13. Back at their own 42. West Virginia rushes 4. Time, though, for Duggan. Plenty of time. Now rolling out. Throws on the move. And that's batted away at the last moment. Barber, the intended receiver. And Tyke Smith, the true freshman, got that left arm around in time to break it up.
Great job, man, across the board. Great protection. Duggan having a chance, trying to buy time, and so you got to turn around and stick to your man if you're on the defense. And you see Tyke Smith doing a great job getting that arm out extended.
A 26-year-old Australian freshman Jordy Sandy on to punt for TCU.
Got a pair of Aussie punters in this game.
We do. On the other side, you got Josh Groudon. Sandy gets it away. Fair catch called for by Alex Sinkfield, and he takes that at the 23-yard line. So Sandy, 35-yard punt with no return.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 4, the best place to play, and in part by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Final home game, so they're saying goodbye to their 21 seniors here at TCU. The last one you see, right tackle Lucas Nguyen, who got hurt about midway through the season, had hip surgery, is hoping to be ready in time for the NFL Combine in the spring. But what a big loss when they lost him off that offensive line.
Absolutely. For a group they've had to shuffle around and find bodies to go to work all year. A big loss for a guy that has a bright future on Sundays.
Well, West Virginia gets the football for the 2nd time. They had the short field on their first possession. Began at the 14-yard line at TCU after the interception. This time begin at their own 23 for Jarrett Dagey. Again, Austin Kendall was the starter the first 9 games of the year. Dagey now starting his 3rd consecutive game. He fakes the handoff to Brown. Dagey looking to take a deep shot on 1st down, looking for Campbell, who has to slow up, and then that is batted away by Trayvon Merrick.
Surprised Merrick didn't intercept this one. He's the team leader in interceptions with 4 on the year. That ball very underthrown. If he turns around a little bit sooner, that's returning the favor for that West Virginia pick from earlier.
Second down carry for Letty Brown. He finds a crease and is up to the 32-yard line. Let's get a quick check from the studio again.
Guys, checking in on the Apple Cup, Washington State. Max Borghi caps off a 13-play, 81-yard opening drive for Washington State. They're up 7-0, although Washington threatening to score early in the first.
Pat, thank you. Apple Cup, got a lot going on in this final weekend of the regular season. Third down and short for West Virginia. 3rd and 2. 2 receivers to each side for Dagey. Motion TJ Simmons to the near side. Dagey hesitates, hands off. Brown not going to get there. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Corey Bethley breaking through to make the first contact on Brown.
Corey Bethley doing a great job working against at the start. Colton McKivitz, the great left tackle for West Virginia, and just climbing back on the inside when he reads draw. He's really had to make up, along with Ross Blacklock, number 90, their other defensive tackle, for the loss of production at that defensive end spot that TCU fans are so used to seeing.
So there's the first 3 and out for either side so far. It comes on West Virginia's second possession. Australian Josh Groudon with that left foot. End over end punt. Rager chasing it. He's going to let it bounce, and it's going to hop out of bounds right about the 25-yard line. 44-yard punt, and TCU ball when we come back. Midway through the first quarter, 7-0 West Virginia. Now, let's take a look at today's PlayStation Player Impact rating, and it's the quarterback for West Virginia, Keith Washington II.
Team leader in interceptions this year. That PlayStation Player Impact rating, think of it in basketball terms like plus minus. When a guy's on the field, how are they performing? How is he adding value to them? And Keith Washington's been a guy as valuable as any to this West Virginia secondary that suffered some losses.
5th-year senior out of the Montgomery area, Prattville, Alabama. TCU begins from the 25, and this is Tay Barber on the jet sweep. Handoff, and there goes Barber. Just one man to beat who does have the angle and pulls him out of bounds inside the 15. And guess who pulled him down? Keith Washington. Great block on the edge by wide receiver John Stevens.
And a great job of play design here. You see that quarterback making the read. And Max Duggan handing it off to Tay Barber, who does a little bit of everything for this TCU offense. And that time capturing the edge. West Virginia went with that bare front, covering up the interior lineman. A great place to hit on the perimeter away from everybody.
That's a 64-yard run for Barber. Remember the OU game a week ago? It was a 62-yard run by the quarterback Duggan that really seemed to get the TCU offense going. We'll see if the same happens this week. That's kept by Duggan. He's bumped hard down inside the 5 by Kerry Martin and also Tyke Smith.
And it's really going to fall on Keith Washington and the rest of these Mountaineer corners to come up in support, because West Virginia and Vic Koenig, their defensive coordinator, love bringing guys like Dylan Tonkery and Shea Campbell in the middle, up as blitzers, involving them and clogging up those lanes, and trying to, in this case, put the ball in the hands of your quarterback in the read option.
It's 2nd down and 3, so they can get a first down without scoring. A lot of Lua in the backfield. Duggan hands it off to him, and Alana Lua is stopped, but right near the sticks by Keith Washington. This might be a first down, or it could be 3rd and very short, depending on that spot. It's going to be 3rd down. So it's 3rd and 1, actually 3rd and a short one, with the ball on the 2.
I think there's a certain large, strong running back wearing number 33 that could use the ball in this situation.
I think he'll get it once again. He gets a little help in the backfield. They got Pro Wells lining up back there with him. And in the Wildcat, it is Alana Lua. So a direct snap to Alana Lua, and he is going to barrel his way into the end zone. You ask Mike Golick, you receive. A touchdown run for Alana Lua.
And Sonny Cumbie, their offensive coordinator, said when the chips are on the table, we want to run behind number 70. Cordell Iwagwu, their left guard, pulls around here, does a great job getting his hat inside on number 35, Josh Chandler, the linebacker. And it makes it that much easier for a guy that's already a load to bring down.
Jonathan Song on for the point after to tie this game up, to attempt to tie the game up, and that is up and through, and he's a perfect 38 for 38 in PATs this season. The drive for TCU ties it at 7. About 10 years ago and rebuilt, but the field's the same, and a lot of history on this field here. So beginning from the 35 after the kick out of bounds, Kennedy McCoy now in the game at running back, and he picks up about 3 to start this drive for the Mountaineers.
And a great stick by Garrett Wallow, their linebacker, number 30. Double-digit tackles 6 times this year. He is their absolute heartbeat in the middle of the defense.
Yeah, 194th career tackle for him, his 114th of the season.
If you're wearing a cowboy collar like that, you have to be pretty darn good.
It's 2nd and 7. Daggy fires near side. Jennings has that picked by Julius Lewis. Well, Lee Jennings, the intended receiver, but Lewis picks up his first interception.
And you see this ball just fade short and inside.
Now the question is, they're going to take a look at this. Did he use the ground to come up to complete the catch? And tough to tell. I didn't see anything from the look we've seen to overturn the call on the field, which is a catch and an interception.
Does look like it. And we have to keep in mind that even if he's making that catch and going towards the ground and you see the ball move at all, as long as he's got control of it, the ball can wiggle a little. That doesn't cause an incompletion, and in this case wouldn't cause a reversal on the interception.
Lewis out of Mansfield High School.
Interception, TCU. Previous play is under further review.
So our replay official will take a look at that, a little closer look, to make sure that was indeed a pick for Lewis. Jeff Hansen, our replay official. And Carl Gotts, his communicator. Again, the call on the field is an interception and a catch for Lewis.
Gets his hands underneath it to start. The question's going to be when it hits the ground, do we see it bounce up at all? Again, it can move a little bit, but usually when you see it bounce up off the turf, anything along those lines, from everything we've seen, it doesn't look like.
Yeah, that looks like an interception. I don't see anything so far. I mean, from that last angle, you kind of think, maybe it bounced, but with the other angles that we just saw, you put those all together, and it looks like a good catch.
I see his left arm underneath. I don't see any movement from the football under there. That call should stand. Be able to confirm that one. And now for Jarrett Dagey, his first interception as a starter for West Virginia. Doing all the right things on the play. You saw Gary Patterson bring some pressure off the edge, and so Dagey looks in the direction of that.
The ruling on the field stands. First down, TCU.
So it stands, and Dagey so far 0 for 3 on his deep shots, now with an interception. It really could have been 2 interceptions if you recall the prior one.
Both underthrown and inside, so something he's certainly going to have to get right over on the sideline, because they know big plays are the way you beat this TCU defense. Despite all of Coach Patterson's complaints about certain lack of production, especially from the ends, they still yet again find themselves second in total defense in the Big 12. Water is also wet.
So each team has now turned it over. TCU from their own 22. They motion Jalen Rager. Handoff. Darius Anderson will carry the pile up near the sticks. That's close to a 10-yard gain there at the 32. Shea Campbell with the tackle.
Great job just putting a foot in the ground, and now we see some tempo.
There's a run coming near side. And out of bounds for a minimal gain. Let's get a quick check from the studio. Matt Berry.
Guys, a little family affair for Nebraska football to get back into this game. Luke McCaffrey, son of Ed McCaffrey, brother of Christian, throws it to J.D. Spielman, son of Rick Spielman, brother of Chris Spielman. 24-17, Nebraska gets back in it.
Matt, appreciate it. A 2nd down and 10 for TCU at their own 32 after the interception. And a flag at the snap. Numerous flags at the snap.
False start, number 62. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And the right tackle, David Baldassami, Moved early.
And this is going to drive Gary Patterson and Sonny Cumbie, their offensive coordinator, nuts, as they said, wanting to improve on first and second down. You were able to overcome a penalty on the last drive, but every offense knows the minute you start going backwards, your percentage chances of getting to pay dirt start dropping off big time.
Yeah, they had a hold on the earlier drive, so that's 2 penalties now for 15 yards against TCU. Again, behind the chains, it's 2nd and 15. Straight ahead, Anderson. Get a couple of those back to the 29 where he's met by Josh Chandler. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Horned Frogs.
And now from this distance, excuse me, you can let Darius Stills go to work on the inside. That's the beauty. The interior of this TCU offensive line has some issues in protection. And so it should allow Vic Koenig the opportunity to lay back in coverage. Give Duggan a lot to look at.
Rager, the fastest player for TCU, is motioned to the bottom of the screen. Duggan, time to throw. It's going to be well short of the sticks after the catch by Rager at the 35. That's only going to pick up about 5. Shea Campbell there on the coverage. It's 4th down, and the Frogs will have to punt.
And for a freshman quarterback, those are actually wins. To see him taking what's in front of him, not trying to force some catastrophic mistake, give us a chance to punt and let this TCU defense go back to work.
Jordy Sandy punting. The spiraling punt is going to bounce at the 32 and take a TCU roll out of bounds inside the 20. Let's take a look at today's Aflac trivia question. Well, Gary Patterson ranks 4th in win percentage among active FBS head coaches. Who are the top 3 ahead of him?
Worth noting, minimum 10 seasons here. This is going to start to become a pretty exclusive club in a lot of this one. I mean, the obvious answers to me would be Dabo Swinney.
Don't give it all away here.
You know what? I feel like people watching right now could probably guess the first 2.
Probably so. The third one may be a little more difficult. But Gary Patterson has had an outstanding career as a head coach here at TCU.
At least 10 wins in 11 of his last 17 seasons. It's insane.
3-yard run from McCoy. All right. Well, you're right. I think most people could get the first 2 pretty quickly. We'll take a look at the Aflac answer. And you mentioned Dabo, and he's there along with Nick Saban. Chris Peterson, and a lot of that I know is from his time at Boise State, where he had great records. He's done well at Washington as well.
Made a living ruining the hopes and dreams of his Power 5 enemies.
He was a frequent opponent of TCU back in their days in the
Ball
Mountain
start,
West.
number 72. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Right tackle, Kelby Wickline. And now this time it's West Virginia. Puts themselves a bit behind the sticks. That's their first penalty of the game.
For West Virginia, we've seen them work, especially on that last 3rd down, going to the ground. Let's get back to this air game. At this point in the season, you are who you are. You're not a great running team right now, but you've got some receivers to work with. Pull out some of these man beaters. Let's get Sam James the ball.
Daggy going to be sacked. Back at the 13, Parker Workman gets to him. A loss of 5.
And that's just an effort rush by a guy appropriately named Workman. See him on the outside here, going against Kelby Wickline. Clears that arm on the rip. Just nothing working underneath. You had a couple of mesh routes across the middle of the field. Gary Patterson's defense keeping everything in front of it. Now 3rd and long.
That solo sack for Workman gives him 2.5 now on the season. That 3rd and long is 3rd and 15. They fake. Daggy steps up, throws, and broken up. Sam James was the target, and Jeff Gladney got a hand on it at the last fraction of a second to break that up.
No surprise there. 41 career starts, leads the team, does Jeff Gladney. Another one of those freaks of college football. Look at the effort, laying out, getting a hand in front. He was a guy they sorely missed in the first half against Oklahoma. Was out serving a suspension for a targeting violation in the previous game. You see the difference when he's on the field, going to follow your best receiver and usually going to do that to him.
Punting from just out of his own end zone. Groudon gets a fortunate bounce, taken at the 30. Tackle broken initially by Rager. He doesn't have much more to go. That's a 56-yard punt. Back to the studio, Matt Berry. Wow, you know, Cincinnati's the team that I think that most people in the nation don't realize how good a season they've had.
No, and this is an absolute battle right now for what we know, the highest-ranked Group of 5 team. Going to try and work their way into one of those New Year's Six bowls. And I know in the college football playoff age, maybe those old BCS bowls don't have the same cachet. But for those Group of 5 teams that really, especially with UCF at the helm the last few years, have been fighting respect, a huge honor.
TCU begins at their own 34. Keith Washington not on the field for West Virginia. Big Troy Fortune, a true freshman, has his right cornerback spot right now. Tay Barber in the backfield. There's a free play after West Virginia jumped, and Barber will run it ahead to about the 39. Pick up about 6 or 7. West Virginia on that left side of the line jumped early.
Offside. Number 95. Defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
True freshman Jordan Jefferson jumped early.
Pre-snap penalties on both sides of the ball for both teams right now drive you nuts. I mean, in the month of November, you're hoping you're past that, but both of these teams we know have had ups and downs and played really well against great teams.
First quarter. Time out on the field.
But that's how you find a way to lose, killing yourself before the play.
Takes us to the end of the first quarter. West Virginia, thanks to a turnover, scored first on a Lenny Brown touchdown reception. And Alana Lua had a touchdown run for TCU. TCU trying to become bowl eligible. Tied with West Virginia 7-all at the end of one quarter from Fort Worth. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation. We begin the second quarter in Fort Worth. TCU needing a win to be bowl eligible, tied with West Virginia 7-all. First play of the quarter, and Alana Lua up to the 40. We haven't seen Keith Washington on the field for West Virginia. What's the latest on him, Doc?
Well, not good news for the Mountaineer fans. The redshirt senior cornerback Washington took a hit to the head, has been evaluated by their trainer Vince Blankenship, and determined that he will go in the concussion protocol. So he's headed to the locker room and is done for the day.
And he's a fifth-year senior, and if he's done for the day, he's done for his West Virginia career. What an important player he has been and would be today. There's a run for Duggan. He's close to the first down.
Guy doing some work early for TCU. How about Carter Ware, number 47, the tight end H-back. You see him moving around. A great seal on the outside run earlier in this series, and a great job coming across the formation that time and giving Duggan some room to run.
So it's 3rd and 1. Ball at the TCU 42-yard line. Shewa Alana-Lua is the running back. And he gets the carry, and he's hard to stop. Needed 1, picks up 3, and they ran over the left guard, ran behind, I should say, Cordell Iwuagwu, and that's pretty commonplace. That's who they like to run behind.
Chips are on the table. They said Iwuagwu is their man up front, and for West Virginia on defense, you saw them again bringing Shea Campbell up to the line. They're thin on defense. They don't have a ton of depth. Vic Koenig has to get creative up front, but usually it ends up with a physical mismatch like that and an easy first down.
Frogs want to throw it on first down, but now flushed out. Duggan is going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he got absolutely walloped by Exree Lowe. And the flags come out for the personal foul late hit.
Good job, Scotty.
And that happened right over at the West Virginia bench, as you can see, with the official call from referee Scott Campbell.
Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Number 17. Defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
There's a look at.
You see Duggan is starting to throttle down over by the sideline. And somewhere I can hear my father screaming, because as a defender, you look for those shots at the quarterback, those kill shots that used to be so commonplace in the game. But in this day and age of player safety, when we just talk about a player in Keith Washington leaving and going into the concussion protocol, it's trying to prevent instances like that.
Well, TCU fans will know what play I'm talking about, but last week against Oklahoma, there was one where Duggan got a similar one, and there was not a penalty called against OU. Here's a reverse. Darius Davis getting some blocks, including from Duggan, but then ran into his own man. It looked like he ran into Stevens, and that's what stopped him at the 35-yard line.
Nothing like a rib shot from your own teammate there. You see the whole crew out in front. Duggan even thinks about throwing a block there.
It's tough to get credit for a tackle when it's your own team and you're a wide receiver trying to block on the edge, but just kind of where fate led John Stevens at that moment.
Quite frankly, he's lucky he didn't get called for a block in the back there.
There's a handoff, Alana Lua, and he has the first down, and now a late flag comes in. That came in flying in from the center, Judge.
Holding. Number 47. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
Once again, a holding call. And it's going to take back that first down run.
And again, TCU find themselves behind the chains coming into this drive. They've been 2 of 3 on 3rd and 5 or less, 0 for on 3rd and 6+. So situations like this directly leading to a lack of efficiency on the most important down in football.
And hold on, the tight end Carter Ware backs him up to the 45 of West Virginia, where it's second down and 15. Duggan fakes the handoff, steps up, fires across the middle, wide open is Tamike Lynn, and he'll have a first down now at the West Virginia 20. Don't call him Artavius. His teammates know him as Tamike.
And they're getting up to the line and getting ready to go now, but a great job by a big target and just sitting down in the zone, giving his quarterback an easy target.
They find Rager now inside the 10, pushed out of bounds by Hakeem Bailey at the 7. First and goal, TCU.
And another one right there. If Hakeem Bailey's going to play that far off, an easy out for Jalen Rager, getting the ball in the hands of one of their best players. And now down in the red zone, the running ability of Max Duggan becomes as deadly as any place on the field.
Duggan hands off. Alana Lua, he's met in the backfield and dropped for a loss at the 8.
West Virginia selling out that bare front down there. You cover up each of the 3 interior offensive linemen, the center and both guards, with 3 defensive linemen. And Darius Stills, his specialty is trying to get on edges on those interior linemen, get himself into the backfield, and disrupt Max Duggan in that mesh point with his running back, Alana Lua.
Here's the 9th play of the drive for the Horned Frogs. It's second and goal. Duggan was looking left, throws across the middle, broken up, incomplete. Kerry Martin, he's one of the true freshmen, the free safety for West Virginia, breaking that up.
A great job manned up across the board by Kerry Washington, getting in front of that ball, slant down in the end zone. Kerry Washington, you mentioned a freshman having Kerry Martin, excuse me, combining great players on this defense. Kerry Martin's had to step up big time. Josh Norman was a great player for them, of another fifth-year senior who went out with an injury in that Kansas State game. Kerry Martin was down in the box against Oklahoma State, having to really work hard against Chuba Hubbard in that great rushing attack, showing off in the passing game here.
Empty backfield with 5 wides for TCU. Quick snap, and he didn't get it off in time. Duggan was trying to get the snap with the play clock running down.
Snap, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And that's going to make the chore 5 yards longer now, back to the 13.
Third down here again. Maybe look towards their touchdown specialist, Pro Wells.
He's lined up, left side slot. Actually on the line, but on this third down and goal. Looking in that direction, a fade towards Barber, too far. Clean coverage, no flag. And TCU will attempt a field goal. That was Nick Troy Fortune, who's in there for the injured Keith Washington that had the coverage.
A West Virginia defense, no stranger to that next man up concept. You hear almost every coach in football talk about it, but the ability to stay ready in a reserve role, especially when you're staring at an upperclassman. Great guy to learn from in Keith Washington, who again they're unfortunately without.
30-yard attempt for Jonathan Song, who in his career from 40 yards and in is 38 out of 39. Boots this one up. It's good. There is a flag. So hold on. TCU walking off the field.
Offside, number 11. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Field goes good.
The 5 yards would not help them with the first down, so they take the points, and the field goal for Song makes it 10-7 TCU. Ranks this week's best college football catches and the top Turkey Bowl play from across the country. Early breaking stories and more on NFL Countdown. It's going to come out to the 25, and it gives us a chance to check back into the studio. And Matt Barry.
Guys, Nebraska.
Yeah, man, we got a team here trying to become bowl eligible. TCU trying to become bowl eligible for the 17th time in 19 seasons. Your head coach Gary Patterson. West Virginia starts from their own 25-yard line, and that pass broken up at the 30. Let's throw it down to Doc.
That left tackle Richard Sr. for West Virginia is a 4-year starter and team captain. He's the bell cow on the offensive line. Get this, he's blocked for 7 different quarterbacks, 2 head coaches, and 3 different offensive line coaches. All along, he just kept his head down and stayed focused. That work effort landed him an invitation to the Senior Bowl. Will probably get him to the NFL.
Already has his degree as well. Here's a pass out. Letty Brown breaks one tackle down the sideline, tripped up at the 40. And that is a first down for West Virginia. And a 16-yard pickup. Wyatt Harris was able to bring him down. Yeah, McKivitz, this is start number 47 in a row. His career start number 47. That's third most in West Virginia history.
And you heard him mention the number of offensive line coaches, the different coaching styles. I had 4 offensive line coaches in my 5 years at Notre Dame. And what it gets you used to is responding to coaching. You're going to learn a lot of different techniques when you go to the next level. And he's going to be uniquely prepared from that, although it may not have seemed like a blessing at the time.
The pass that's corralled by Brown, had to stretch for, but he's going to have a first down, slips another tackle. And he's inside the 40 of TCU, out at the 38. That was Wyatt Harris who had a chance to bring him down, but a nice move by Brown. He picks up 21.
Getting Letty Brown in space as he full-on olays the TCU defender there. Been their first real source of offense outside of that drive that started inside the 20 off the turnover. West Virginia has been able to muster nothing up until this point.
I'll have a first down at the 38 at TCU, trailing by 3. Time ticking down. Deggy breaks away and then just throws it away. Did get it past the line of scrimmage. Corey Bethley and Terrell Cooper got in the backfield there, pressuring Deggy.
Great job there by Terrell Cooper on the inside. Could almost had holding there on Chase Barrett, the center. flushing him out of the pocket. And you heard the referee say, gets outside of that tackle box as long as it's beyond the line of scrimmage. No grounding to worry about.
2nd down and 10. 3 receivers to the bottom for Daigie. He's going to hand it off, and the run goes straight ahead to the 35 for 4 yards. Harrison Lewis with the tackle for TCU on Lenny Brown.
This is a big 3rd down for West Virginia. You're finally in plus territory. You've had nothing going all day. You see Sam James, number 13, split out in that 3-by-1 side. Got to try and get your best receiver the ball.
This might be 4-down territory if they don't get it. They're going to get the 1st down anyway. A catch for TJ Simmons. Guy who's been banged up, but back healthy once again. 9-yard gain, 1st down.
TJ Simmons been big for them in big games this year. 2 touchdowns versus Oklahoma. His first career 100-yard game came against Texas. He's been a guy they've been able to count on down the stretch. And now you get down near the red zone here. See what Neil Brown has in the bag of tricks. We haven't seen many of those shifts that we saw in the very first play.
The handoff for Brown, powering his way ahead inside the 25 to the 23. Well, West Virginia had only 13 passing yards their first 4 drives. This is drive number 5, and we got 46 yards through the air so far on this drive. So it's starting to fall into place a little more here for Daigie.
And after the interceptions and a couple of really underthrown balls we'd see going deep downfield, they said, all right, we'll get it to the running back wide on the outside. Almost an extension of the run game here. Throw some routes to try and back off this very aggressive Gary Patterson TCU defense.
West Virginia got their first points thanks to an interception. Only had to go 14 yards on their first drive for the touchdown by Brown. Here's a catch. Sam James on the screen, but stopped at the 22. It's going to be a 3rd down after a tackle by Vernon Scott. West Virginia 2 for 4 on 3rd down. This is the 9th play of this drive for the Mountaineers.
See the offense checking with the sideline. Safety's coming down and adjusting right now.
Simmons motions.
They got zone coverage.
Daigie hands off. Brown is hit and dropped for a loss of a yard by Garrett Wallow. And it's 4th down.
Light box look here, just 5 in the box for the offensive line. And you've got to have eyes on 30. I understand those 2 D tackles inside are a lot to handle, but 30, the leading tackler on this team. When you get a look like that, you're expected to win as a group up front. To not be able to track your linebacker like that's inexcusable.
Evan Staley from 40 to try to tie the game. Hit over in, on its way, up, and good. Staley connects from 40, so West Virginia gets some points out of the drive, and with 5:18 to play in this first half.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you.
Indiana.
Oh, Thanksgiving. Plenty of good victuals for both teams, TCU and West Virginia, spending their Thanksgiving together yesterday.
Gotta love West Virginia representing with a bunch of big bearded fat guys eating turkey legs. Really speaks to me. I feel very seen right now, Mark.
You still want to stick with that word fat? I'm okay with it. You like that one?
Oh, listen,
large guys?
Large, you know what? We use fat affectionately.
You can say that because you played that position.
Exactly.
So
in our community, that is a term of endearment.
Yes. Along with former Notre Dame offensive lineman Mike Golick Jr. and Dr. Jerry Punch, I'm Mark Neely. Happy Thanksgiving from the Lone Star State. West Virginia, by the way, had only 25 yards total offense in the first quarter. They get 52 on that last drive. And the game-tying field goal from the 6, Darius Anderson. Anderson up through the 25. And a late flag come in there. And X-Reed Lowe, who got called for a late hit on the quarterback, dug in earlier in the game, may have just gotten another one here. And there's some. Yeah, it wasn't a big bump.
Yeah, you saw Trevante Heights blocking him in the back into that play. So one of those that looks and feels a lot worse than it actually is. But
like Anderson took exception, but the play shows, as you mentioned, kind of got pushed, and there wasn't a lot of hard contact nonetheless. But the officials, let's see if they're going to.
What we really missed earlier in that play was Pro Wells sending someone to the moon on that.
There's no foul for a late hit out of bounds as number 17 was blocked into the returner. First down, TCU.
And that was exactly the case. So they're going to have it at the 24. When we come back from this break, 10-10, 5:14 to play first half.
Timeout on the field.
TCU ball to begin this drive from their own 24. 5:14 to play first half from Fort Worth. Duggan, a first down throw is batted down. Jeffrey Pooler.
Forward pass, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Second down.
Quick game 101 from the D-line here on West Virginia. If you can't get home, get up. And you see Pooler on the edge reading the eyes of the quarterback, gets his hand in that throwing lane.
Carter Ware shifts to the left side of the formation for the Frogs. Handoff Anderson, trying to get to the edge, does so, falls forward to the 31 and gains 6. An update from Matt Berry in the studio.
Guys, out.
21-10, huh? 4:40 to play. Clock running here first half from Fort Worth.
You're seeing something very unique in the Big 12 from both of these teams. 4 down defensive lines. Talked to Coach Patterson. So many of these teams around the league, 3-man fronts trying to get bodies in the secondary.
On third down, they bring 3. The pass incomplete. And it'll be fourth down. Tate Barber was the intended receiver, and Tyke Smith with the coverage.
Great job by Tyke Smith working all the way across the field. A lot of traffic there on the other side. Working all the way through that again. Another poor third down situation for TCU.
Mike, that's the first 3 and out for the TCU offense today. So Jordy Sandy to punt with Sinkfield back to West Virginia 35. High spiraling punt. Sinkfield has to retreat and calls a fair catch and takes that at the 29-yard line. 41-yard punt and a timeout on the field.
I think really backloading credit for how well they played against Oklahoma in that matchup in Waco.
Screen play on the first play of this drive, but well read. O'Shawn Mathis, he is a D lineman that they are extremely high on. The redshirt freshman spot. Big 12 championship, as I mentioned, coming up Saturday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Of course, OU fell behind big in the last meeting in Waco, came back and won it by 3.
The beauty of this game, it's dealer's choice. I have no idea which version of either team is going to show up. Do you get first half Baylor? Do you get second half Oklahoma? Going to be exciting and a lot of points either way.
Loss of a yard on the first play of the drive and a handoff. Letty Brown trying to advance his way. He kept on going. Man, he's not going to be down until about the 38, 39-yard line. Garrett Wallow with the tackle, but it's a 10-yard gain. It's the third one.
Great job by Chase Barrett, the center, on these zone plays, especially when you're adding defenders. In the last 2 plays, we've seen a couple of defenders added down, blitzing off the end of the line. You got to just make one crease for your runner, and that time the big man, number 76 in the middle, found a way to put them in a third and very manageable, and now with some big bodies on the field. A little tackle over.
McCoy barrels forward and has the first down at the 40 to move the chains. Clock will resume. We're under 3 minutes to go here in this first half.
And that time you see, take big bodies, load them all up on the left-hand side, a little tackle over play there, and run behind the massive wall of beef. It's a great play call on everyone's sheet. I know it's there.
We know where the beef is. Run behind it. Faggy on first down, passes off to the back, and McCoy gets out of the backfield and then gets hit hard at the 45, and they're going to be a late flag thrown in at the point.
And they might be looking at targeting for this one here. Head-to-head contact with the best defensive player for TCU.
Garrett Wallow is the one with the tackle. The flag came from the official down the sideline.
Personal foul, targeting, number 30, defense. The previous play is under further review.
So it's going to go to our replay official, Jeff Hansen. Did he make contact with the crown of the helmet to the head or neck area there?
Yeah, you've got to meet two criteria, so you're always looking when it comes for targeting for an indicator. Is there forcible contact? Is someone launching, thrusting, lowering their head, or leading with the forearm or helmet? That time, I think you could say he's leading. And is an attack with the crown of the helmet? It looks like you get both of those things satisfied there, and I think we're going to be looking at Garrett Wallow sitting the rest of this game out.
Wallow, who is a junior out of New Orleans, one of their starting linebackers. Their leading tackler. So this is obviously a big call here, and head coach Gary Patterson does not want to lose Garrett Wallow with 2 minutes 18 seconds left in the first half and all of the second half to play.
They just played the replay in the stadium, and spoiler alert, they are not fans of the call.
Well,
you see there him trying to turn right at the end could be the only thing the crowd here is objecting to.
6 tackles today for Wallow, 1 tackle for loss, so he's already made an impact. And I know this is splitting hairs here. It's really hard to tell, Mike, on this video. Do we know for sure that the crown of the helmet actually hit his helmet?
And the more I've seen it, it looks like he's turning to the side at the end.
After
and
review,
might be the difference.
There is no foul for targeting. The result of the play is going to be 2nd and 4 from the 46-yard line.
Well, that's a big
Number 30
sigh of relief
can stay in the game
for Gary Patterson and the TCU fans who did not want to lose Garrett Wallow.
You had the forcible contact, but once the crown of the helmet was out of it, I think that was all they needed.
Doc has more.
Yeah, Gary Patterson didn't complain at all in the initial call, but when he saw the review, he was right beside the side judge, Mario Seneca, and he went wild, saying there's no way that was targeting, and he was right.
We get that overturned, and there's a tackle for loss in the backfield by guess who? Garrett Wallow, who says, I'm still in this game, West Virginia. Don't forget that.
West Virginia continues to lose the defense's best player in the box. Now that time, you saw the right guard and right tackle chasing the defensive lineman. Not sure if 30 was maybe the read player on the quarterback. And if so, he made the incorrect read. But either way, now you're in a 3rd and 7 right now.
Clock rolling, about a minute and a half to play first half. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts, and on this 3rd down and 7, the pass is to Anderson, first down across midfield to the 48 of TCU. Merrick with the tackle, but West Virginia gets a big first down to keep the drive going after a gain of 9.
And again, using the running back as a weapon out of the backfield, trying to make the linebacker who's got him in coverage clear a lot of trash to get out to that point. All he needs is a step.
Clock still running, down to a minute. Handoff. Anderson ahead to the 43. Let's check in with Matt Berry again in the studio.
All right, guys, coming up on the Lexus Halftime Report, battle for home field advantage in the ACC Championship. Plus, a streak comes to an end in the AAC Plus, or the ACC rather, plus big games in the Big Ten. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me coming up on the Lexus Halftime Report.
Looking forward to that. Long pass for James is picked off by Washington at the 6. So on a second down play, Daggy going deep, and it's picked for the second time today.
The ruling on the field, interception, TCU.
So before, Jared Daggy underthrowing balls. This time, sails a ball, and Sam James was clean right off the line. That ball needed to come out a lot sooner, and instead floats one over the top. An easy one for Ardarius Washington to pick there.
Washington, who had a career-high 14 tackles in Norman last week against OU, gets his 4th interception of the season. And Daggy has not had success on that deep ball today, Mike. 0 for 4 on deep shots with a couple interceptions down.
It's funny, that was the case for Oklahoma a week ago. They were 0 for on all their deep passes and still somehow found a way to climb back into that game. West Virginia, this one's tied up, but this is like playing blackjack. If you're not hitting splits and doubles, it's going to be a very short night for you.
Well, presuming this is going to stand or be confirmed as an interception, TCU has all 3 of their timeouts, Mike, but they're at their 6-yard line with 31 seconds left here in the half.
This is one of your, Gary Patterson, you're telling your quarterback, just take care of the football here. We'll hand it off probably once to start this drive. If they break something, maybe they'll snap into a bit of a hurry-up mode. But if you stop this gain for short on defense, going to kneel on it, take it into halftime.
All right, so they're going to let him play. It is an interception. Here's TCU from their own 6. Alanalua. Gets up near the 10. He'll pick up 4 or 5, brought down by Exree Lowe. And TCU looks content to just let the time run out here in the first half. So TCU is going to let time run out. They need a win for bowl eligibility, do the Horned Frogs. And they are tied up with West Virginia, 10-10 here at the intermission. The Mountaineers will get the kickoff to begin the second half. Halftime here at Fort Worth. Let's head to the studio with the Lexus Halftime Report. Matt Berry, Joey Galloway, and Jesse Palmer. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation. About ready to start the second half in Fort Worth. West Virginia and TCU tied at 10. TCU needs a win to become bowl eligible. And you're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Great to have you with us from the Lone Star State. Here's a look at the first half numbers. Mike Golick Jr. and the rushing yards heavily favored TCU.
Heavily in favor of TCU, surprising where they haven't come from. Max Duggan, their quarterback, who's averaged about 82 a game in the last 6. See if they can't get him going.
West Virginia gets the ball to start the second half. TCU wearing the black uniforms, West Virginia in the white. Anderson called for the fair catch, takes it at the goal line. Hey, let's see who's looking good today. Brought to you by DXL Big and Tall. And Mike, it's been the TCU secondary.
Couple of picks for them on the day, but really just blanket coverage all over the field. Could have been a pick to start it off. Trevon Merritt for the first one there, an underthrown ball. And then we see here a great play by Julius Lewis. Getting up underneath it. But we know this secondary is led by Jeff Gladney. Their leader in career starts at 41, has been all over the field for them. This group's been the difference of the game, and it's kept TCU in it anytime West Virginia's been in danger of driving the field.
2 picks today for that TCU secondary. Daggy picked twice. 1 touchdown throw. He finds Sam James, who'll be run out of bounds at the 34. Let's check in with Doc.
Yeah, I talked to Neil Brown coming out at halftime, West Virginia. He said, you know what? We played a pretty good half. He said, we've only played 3 bad halves all year. We tried to throw vertically in the first half, got it picked off. We threw to our running back a lot. We know Gary Patterson's going to probably take that away in the second half. So look for them to start running some crossing routes, to try to get some shallow routes to be able to get some passing game and get some yardage here early on in the second half. He thinks, this game's going to go down to the wire like most of the games we played in this year.
Already some second half adjustments to be on the lookout for. Here's Letty Brown all the way up near midfield. First down, West Virginia. It was Trayvon Merrick with the tackle. Washington had a chance at him, but missed him.
And what's going to help with that extended passing game, Doc mentioned, getting the ball horizontally working on this field. That's a big part when you see all these motions in these offenses, especially these offenses with air raid principles. They're trying to stretch you horizontally so they can go back to those vertical passes right now. You saw them started off with Sam James, get a rushing attempt in there.
TCU brings 5 on first down. Diggy lost the football, loose, and West Virginia recovers. Vernon Scott knocked it out. O'Shawn Mathis had a great chance to grab that for TCU, but could not. And West Virginia is fortunate to keep it.
Corey Bethley's going to be sick. Had a chance for this in the bottom. But you see the extra defender coming off the edge. No one accounting for him. And that quarterback hand goes forward empty. Means that ball is live. And Corey Bethley, number 94, their D tackle, had a great look at it. Unfortunately got out-wrestled by the West Virginia offensive line.
Out of all that, a loss of 3, 2nd and 13. More time, this time for Jarrett Tigg, and he fires deep. That ball picked. Intercepted, and Washington gets his second INT of the game, and on the return up near midfield. You were just mentioning this, Mike. And another interception
on the field.
for the
Interception.
game. TCU
First
a 22-yard return.
You see Washington back here in zone. He's got his eyes on Daggy the entire time. He sees him starting to stare down his receiver, drifts over, and this ball out in front, and again, well short of anything that Campbell could have tried to haul in there.
Now that's an easy pick for Washington. As I mentioned, his 2nd of the game, 5th of the year now.
Your receiver doesn't even have a chance to turn into a defensive player. A lot of times on those contested balls, we'll see a receiver come back and try and make a play, but again, so far out in front and underthrown.
TCU's offense hits the field for the first time in the second half with great starting field position at the 47. Duggan looked long, but throws underneath to Anderson, and he's going to hop, skip, and jump for about 10 yards on first down.
Taking a play out of the West Virginia offense's playbook, you've got to score on this drive. Not enough points off the amount of turnovers your defense has been able to force. And so if you can't create big plays downfield with a freshman quarterback, give him short area stuff that he can dink and dunk with.
Already into West Virginia territory from the 43. Throwing underneath again, dangerous. Anderson, that's an incomplete pass. The pass was out of reach. Let's check in again with Doc.
Spoke with Gary Patterson going off at halftime. Obviously loved what his defense did in the first half, 31 yards rushing. He said, but we have got to back them off the line of scrimmage offensively. He said they're crowding the line of scrimmage. We can't run the ball. We've got to back them off, which means we've got to throw the ball over their head and get them to back off a little bit so then we can get the run game going. So watch for some deep threats here early in the third quarter.
Doc, thanks. Let's see what TCU dials up on 2nd down and 10. Here comes some pressure. He steps up. Duggan's just going to throw it away. The pressure came from a couple, including Reuben Jones, number 91.
We've seen twice now TCU go to that play action pass, pulling an offensive lineman around, creating a seam in West Virginia. Just too deadly on the inside. Darius Stills and company finding their way into the backfield, making it life really hard. And another 3rd and 10 for TCU. 0 for 3 on 3rd and 6 plus today.
3 for 8 on 3rd down overall. 3 receivers to the boundary side of the field. Duggan looked left, now looks right, fires low, incomplete. Is in the direction of John Stevens. And now see pushing and shoving going on after the play. An official got knocked to the ground momentarily. The umpire did. And now cooler heads prevailing, but getting chippy here in Fort Worth early in the second half. I didn't see Mike Wood started that, but it occurred after the play. It ended. No flags.
No, thankfully no one was dumb enough to throw a punch in all of this and get themselves ejected.
Yeah, just some pushing going on there. So no flag, 4th down. If you're West Virginia, you certainly didn't want to pick up a personal foul there and extend the drive for TCU.
Both these teams have done a good job since the opening quarter, really, of limiting some of the pre-snap and extracurricular penalties. Don't want to get them back started now.
Jordan Sandy, a high end-over-end punt, is going to land inside the 5 and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So that'll come out to the 20. Early 3rd quarter. TCU and West Virginia still tied at 10. Tied at 10 early 2nd half from Fort Worth. Let's go back and take a look at that pushing and shoving that went down after the 3rd down play for TCU. Jared Bartlett, number 50, a true freshman, playing in just his 4th game. You see him circled there. It's tangled up Cordell Awagwu, and he looked like he tried to throw perhaps a punch. It didn't connect, and then the umpire, Rick Pedraza, just kind of got pushed a little bit and mostly fell by losing his balance.
It's like he realized mid-punch, wait a minute, this would be a boneheaded play and I would get thrown out. Let me pull that one back.
Starting from their own 20 after the punt into the end zone, and Letty Brown is tripped up by Trayvon Merrick for a loss of a yard.
Trayvon Merrick and company going to have to respond to the challenge, because West Virginia's going back to the well of about the only thing that's worked for them consistently offensively, which is Letty Brown and Kennedy McCoy, numbers 4 and 6 respectively, getting into the short field and making one guy miss for chunk yardage.
Letty Brown does have 5 catches now for 38 yards. Both are career highs, even though he just lost a yard on that last reception. Going to get a handoff this time. The 23, our Darius Washington has the tackle. It's going to be a 3rd down.
And this is another spot. We talked about this with a freshman on the other side, Max Duggan. But for Jared Dagey, the coaching point can be the same right now. Take what's there. He's been trying to force balls down the field, and in a 3rd and long situation, it's easy to get antsy in the pocket.
The interceptions he's thrown have all come on 2nd down. This is a 3rd down and long, and fires a strike for a 1st down. Ali Jennings up at the 35. And no, now the official's coming in and saying no catch. The side judge came in
4th down.
and says it's incomplete and 4th down.
Take a look at this. You see him curling in at the top of the screen, coming back towards the quarterback to make the catch, and
You could certainly see a juggle. We couldn't see totally what happened from that angle. Julius Lewis covering there for TCU. And that's going to be a 3 and out. So no 1st down.
looked like the right call. Lost control. Had to re-juggle and catch after it hit the ground.
Rager retreats, now advances and finds some open ground. There he goes! Jalen Rager strutting into the end zone. He had a punt return touchdown for 73 yards against Kansas. And this one for 70.
The players at Big 12 Media Day said this was the fastest guy in the conference. And you see, you make one guy miss on that punt return team, and you can see the void just start to open up there. Everyone trying to close that net all at once, but when you go right up the gut of it, and you're that fast, no punter formed against you shall prosper in the open field trying to make that tackle.
The true freshman, Kerry Martin, number 15, was the one that had the one chance to bring him down, but couldn't. And Rager goes 70 for the punt return touchdown.
The fastest man in the Big 12, one of Bruce Feldman's college football freaks, get loose in the open field, making his impact felt here in Fort Worth at 17-10 TCU. So many hardworking people on the road away from their families on Thanksgiving, watching Mark slowly cross over to the other side after another round of pie. I was worried about you, buddy.
It just hit me. Coming out to the 25. Let's go back to the punt return touchdown for Rager. What's unusual is 15, 20 yards into the return, you can tell he's gone.
You can. As part of the coverage on a punt team, you're all taught to spread out, get in your lane, and then close the net. The problem is the first guy down there has to make him move east to west. And once you get to that back line, those last couple of guys, especially the punter, well, I'm not going to lie, when you draw those up and sit in meetings and everyone draws up their rush lanes and you have the punter as the safety valve, no special teams coach in America is expecting that guy to make it. So the rest of that net needed to close a lot faster, but the first guy has to get him going east and west so he can corral the rest of his buddies.
Second punt return touchdown of the year for Jalen Rager has given TCU the lead. And there's a throw by Daggy that's nowhere close as Simmons was sprinting down the sideline, and it was well behind him. Think about how crucial that call was. It looked like West Virginia had a first down on a reception by Ali Jennings. The side judge came in late and said, no catch. Fourth down, they had to punt, and then Rager returns it.
And it's just another thing wearing on the confidence of your quarterback then, because I believe it was the right call to drop in that situation. And now I really think you've got to, if you're Neil Brown, dial up some shorter stuff for your quarterback right now. Him going downfield, he just proven he can't handle it at this point.
Daggy on second down, fires into the flat. This is Kelly, or Sean Ryan, that is. He'll have a first down up to the 45-yard line. Well, coming up tomorrow afternoon, first place in the Big Ten West, a berth of the Big Ten title game against Ohio State on the line. Number 12, Wisconsin, taking on Minnesota. They square off 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ABC and the ESPN app. Big game of the Big Ten tomorrow. First down for West Virginia at their own 40-yard line. So we slip under the 10-minute mark here in the third quarter.
Gary Patterson on that last play, starting to get antsy. Wants to throw extra bodies, wants to blitz him some. But Daggy making him pay.
Bring four, pass a little low, and a tumbling grab was made there by Isaiah Esdale for a gain of 4.
And this is the right idea. You've had some trouble running the ball consistently. You've had trouble trying to throw it downfield. So quick outs to the flat, passes to the running back that have worked for them all night. A lot of these short area passes to the wide receivers, quite frankly, are going to make it easier the next time he wants to look Kennedy McCoy or Letty Brown's way.
Handoff Anderson. Threads through for about 3 to the 46, brought down by Ben Wilson.
And you saw in that last play, one of the toughest spots for young wide receivers to make an impact on the game is as a blocker. And that time, Sam James comes into the block box, tries to get some hands on Ben Wilson, then spins off, loses his man, exactly the guy who makes the tackle.
West Virginia 3rd and 4 from their 46. And shift 3 to the top side. Sam James has been relatively quiet this game, the receiver at the bottom of the screen. Daggy will throw to James, but off his fingertips, incomplete. 6th time that James has been targeted. Only has 2 catches. 4th down, and West Virginia to punt again.
Right through his hands, you get exactly what you want if you're Neil Brown. The shift widens out the defense, gets them communicating, gets them split outside of the box, opens it up for James in the middle. Got to make those plays.
And now West Virginia is going to have to punt to Jalen Rager. He returned one 70 yards a short time ago. Rowden, end over end punt. Fair catch called for. It's going to hit a West Virginia player. Be downed at about the 16 or 17. It'll be at the spot. And that's where TCU takes over. 9:38 to play.
Time not on the field.
I should say 8:19 to play in this third quarter. State will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. TCU begins on 17-yard line.
Again, I'd really love for them to find a way to get Max Duggan involved in the run game down here. Maybe even see some of that speed option we saw really get him going versus Oklahoma.
He's going to give it to Barber. Barber tried to get to the right side and advance to the 22. Pick up 5. Campbell and Mahone stop him for West Virginia.
It's a great play to go back to. We remember Tay Barber had the big gain on that fly sweep handoff earlier in the game. Number 4 in black. Dynamic playmaker for them. And now it gets the linebackers and safeties thinking every time that guy goes across. Expect the next time he comes across that formation, a play action pass, a quarterback to keep. The middle of the field is going to be much more open because of him.
There goes Barber again with that jet sweep motion. They hand it off. Alana Lua hitting the backfield. He'll be tackled and lose about a yard. It was the Stills, Darius Stills, and then Reuben Jones helping out Darius.
Great job splitting the double team by Darius Stills. Doing the hard work again. We're used to seeing him jumping around guys, giving an arm over, giving a rip. But that time playing through 2 offensive linemen, making a great play in the backfield. For a 3rd and uncomfortable, Max Duggan in these situations all night has shown an inability to get the ball downfield.
This time Barber motioned into the slot here on the near side. Comes pressure off the edge. It's picked up. Throws to Alana Lua out of the backfield. Who's going to come down right near the sticks. X-Reed low. He wanted to trip him up. But he's going to have a first down.
Great job by the offensive line picking up and passing off pressure here.
Get right back up to the line and throw it underneath. This is Alana Lua out of the backfield. He'll struggle just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Alana Lua, one of 21 seniors on the roster for TCU. West Virginia has 22 seniors on their roster that are playing their final game. TCU hopes it's not their final game. They're trying to win to become bowl eligible and become the 7th Big 12 team to do so.
And with the true freshman quarterback, getting those extra 15 practices would essentially amount to another spring football. To get him reps is invaluable for these coaches.
Rushing 4, Duggan, screen, Barber. Barber collides with Hakeem Bailey right near the sticks. About the 36, going to be a little bit short. 3rd and 1.
Heads up job by the right guard, Austin Myers, throttling down on that screen, looking back to the inside, knowing a defender's probably coming from there chasing the back, and getting him to a 3rd and very manageable short down, where the quarterback run, in addition to, you guessed it, number 33, Shewo Olonilua.
The predictable handoff and the predictable result gets enough. Neither one gets 2. First down, TCU.
And that's the trouble we mentioned. West Virginia in 4-down defense a lot tonight, trying to get extra bodies around for the run game. But when you're talking right up the middle, they've been trying to supplement that a lot with linebackers and those bigger bodies going toe-to-toe with Coy McMillan in the middle of that offensive line. Over time, just aren't going to be able to hold up, especially in those situations.
First down, Frogs at their own 38-yard line. Just under 5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Anderson trying to creep through, does so to the 41 for 3. Brennan Thrift, number 90, getting some playing time for West Virginia today with the tackle.
Tay Barber trotting back onto the field. He's really been the comfort level for Max Duggan. We know Jalen Reagor, what a weapon he is. But number 4 in black, reliable.
Duggan looking in his direction, but it's getting flushed out, and he's just going to have to throw it away. That's going to bring up a 3rd down. It was Jeffrey Pooler, Reuben Jones in pursuit of the quarterback.
If I'm Sonny Cumbie, that's now 3 times you've tried to run that same play action protection, and 3 times you've had defenders right in your quarterback's face. At some point, you've got to look at that, scrap the idea, and move on to the next thing on your call sheet, because it's putting you in, again, another disadvantaged 3rd down.
I think we saw Coach Patterson saying that exact same thing to Coach Cumbie. Looking down to the sideline there. 3rd down and 7. Duggan with time to throw. Fires dangerously. Intercepted. Sean Mahone at the 48 of TCU as Duggan threw into a crowd, and he gets picked for the 2nd time today.
The only thing you couldn't do, none of the rest of this has been deadly for Max Duggan right now. It hasn't been perfect, but it hasn't been deadly. But then you get to this, looking for a big target in the middle of the field, but you've got bodies in your face. You see Darius Stills again doing a good job getting that arm up, making it a little bit harder for him to be accurate. I think it might have even been tipped a little bit.
That was deflected. That definitely played a part in the interception, so West Virginia takes over at the 48-yard line of TCU. Darius Anderson gets a block, goes to the sideline, inside the 15, and down near the 10-yard line. It's Kennedy McCoy, I should say. Got my 6s mixed up. Nonetheless, a long run of 36 yards for West Virginia.
You saw before the play, motion out to the right side, open that up completely, gave you 5 defenders just sitting there in the box, and so now you run outside zone away from all of those bodies that you just took away from the play and give plenty of rushing lanes. This offensive line has struggled, but if you get the defense running, you've got backs that are athletic enough to make guys miss. We've seen that tonight.
Thanks to that 36-yard run, 1st down, give it back to McCoy, and he's run down at the 10 by Ross Blacklock. Haven't mentioned Blacklock's name much today, but he is a big part of that defensive line for TCU.
2017 freshman All-American, missed all of last year with an Achilles injury and has been back with the bench. We mentioned they lost L.J. Collier and some great production from the ends, but they've got 2 stout defensive tackles in there in Gary Patterson's defense.
High snap, brought down. McCoy straight ahead for just a yard or so. 3rd down. Blacklock helping out on that tackle as well. Line to gain is the 2, so they can get a 1st down without scoring. DJ Simmons comes back into the game for West Virginia. One of the 2 receivers up top along.
You see Sam James all alone at the bottom there with Jeff Gladney, the best corner for TCU.
James in motion. Daggy sets up, fires. That's O'Laughlin, but he is stopped at the 7. Throws to the tight end, and Merrick and Washington were right on him. It's 4th down, and it's going to turn to a field goal for West Virginia.
It's a shame. You'd love to keep the foot on the gas, but 4th and 6 with the way this West Virginia offense has been operating. You get more points off turnovers here for West Virginia on the night. Remember, they got their 1st points of the game off an interception back inside the red zone.
Staley makes it 17-13 with 1:25 to go in this 3rd quarter. So West Virginia gets some points after the turnover. Staley's field goal, the 2nd of the game, has made it 17-13. West Virginia down 4, but at 25 to go 3rd quarter. A game TCU needs to win to become bowl eligible. Anderson and Alana Lewitt back deep. A short kick at the 9 as Darius Anderson started to come near side. Hops the defender to the 19-yard line. Now this season, for every field goal, an extra point made by participating universities. All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Max Dugan and the offense comes back out for the Frogs. We've seen both quarterbacks today, Mike, make a few ill-advised throws.
And that really, coming into this game, had been a strength for both of them. Max Duggan drawing a lot of comparisons to Andy Dalton, the redshirt freshman around here who won 8 games his freshman year and then won an awful lot more after that, but turned the ball over much more than Duggan had before this game.
Play stop, flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 1.
False start
Offense.
against
5-yard
TCU.
penalty. Still first down.
Doc has more on that TCU offense.
Talking about how West Virginia's been crowding a line of scrimmage. At halftime, Gary Patterson was adamant that you got to throw the ball down the field. This is what Mike Golick Jr. was saying. They've got to be able to throw the ball down. That last possession, when they went to the sidelines, I think that was a point of emphasis. If you can protect him, we got to get the ball downfield to get this defense to back off the line of scrimmage a little bit.
Now they start from their 15 now after the penalty. Fake the jet sweep. Duggan's pressured. Davis, a lot of room on the far side. Will get up near the marker and the first down at the 29. Darius Davis.
And I know Doc just mentioned going downfield, but that'll back him off just as much. And that time you had bodies down by the line of scrimmage, another bare front, a blitz up the middle from Josh Chandler. All these things that leave you vulnerable on the edges, especially as some of those routes are going downfield.
First time Darius Davis has been targeted today, and it goes for a 14-yard gain, just a little short of the first down. 2nd down and 1. Handoff. Anderson nowhere to go, and he's going to lose ground. Darius Stills, who, by the way, is the one that deflected that pass on the previous possession by Duggan that turned into an interception, is there to make the tackle again.
Vic Koenig and that defense just going to dare him. And we know this is the last game of their season. They're here to play spoiler on what TCU's looking for. So Vic Koenig's ready to cut it loose on their side as we get ready to cut it loose into the 4th quarter.
Darius Stills has 4 tackles and now a tackle for loss. That's going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. TCU needing a win to become bowl eligible.
Time out on the field.
It's been a little damp, a little foggy, a little rainy, but a 4th quarter is just ahead. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation. Heading into the 4th quarter, TCU leading West Virginia 17-13. Along with Dr. Jerry Punch on the field and Mike Golick Jr., I'm Mark Neely. TCU needing a win to become bowl eligible. On 3rd and 2, they come out in the Wildcat with Olanalua to trigger it. Rager in motion. Olanalua gonna run. Ooh, this is going to be close. We'll see about the spot. He needed to get to the 29, and the line judge is going to give him that spot. It looks like, well, I thought they said he had enough, but they're putting 4th down on the sticks. Let's see it. And they're going to measure this, I believe.
The headline judge looked like he came running in, giving him enough for the yards of gain, but
Darius Stills, the one that made the tackle. And on the yellow lines, it's close. It can be precise.
you can see his pads looked like they were over it, but the ball back behind's an important part of here. Wasn't reaching it out, and the referees are going to look for the ball in that situation.
Wow. He got it by the nose of the football. Some of the West Virginia players thought he was short. Looking at the measurement.
I'm thankful this wasn't the NFL, and nobody brought out a note card for that one. Glad we stayed away from the note card
Thank
in this
goodness.
situation.
Wow, so close. Vic Koenig's defense possibly getting off the field. Instead, a first down for TCU. Their own 29. Doc has more.
Yeah, guys, Vic Koenig talking about the fact that they're short on experience, short on depth. He said, we're just going to let her rip and try to stop the run and take our chances on the back end. So far, a 4-point game, they've done a pretty good job.
And once again, West Virginia in a tight game in the fourth quarter. Duggan's going to be sacked back at the 19 by Reuben Jones. A loss of 11.
Reuben Jones The Michigan transfer doing a great job knocking hands down. Watch him against number 68, Anthony McKinney, here on the left side. Knocks both of those hands down, gets the rip coming around the edge, and then after that, it's all motor, which he's got plenty of.
Duggan didn't seem to sense him at all. He's fortunate that Jones didn't get the strip sack there. In motion, Rager looked to pass to him, but Duggan elects to run with it. He's up to the 30. To the 31. Still going to be about 9 yards short of the first down after an 11-yard game. But we haven't seen a lot of that running game from Duggan tonight.
Hopefully that scramble reminds them that that is an option. Before that play, West Virginia's D-line had 6 quarterback pressures, 3 hits, and 2 batted balls. They're teeing off right now. The perfect remedy to that is getting Max Duggan loose in the run game, encouraging him on scrambles to try and get those yards with his legs, because they are 1 of 6 on third downs of 6 yards or more tonight, and they're sitting at 3rd and 10 right now.
And 6 of 13 overall on third down. On 3rd and 9, Duggan fires. Rager hit hard, incomplete at the 42. That was Tyke Smith, true freshman, who put on the lick, and it's 4th down.
Tough spot. Freshman quarterback puts the ball behind him. Looking back, trying to come back, really exposing his wide receiver to a big hit. I think
that's Stevens, number 7, who took that lick.
His buddy may come over to the sideline and remind him that I'd like to walk out of this game under my own power.
Sinkfield back to receive the punt. High, short punt. Fair catch called for by Sinkfield. Then he takes it to 38. So pretty good starting field position for West Virginia. They trail it 17-13 early in the 4th. Well, Neil Brown was a tremendous hire for West Virginia. What he did at Troy, Mike Golick Jr., but he knew he was inheriting a team that didn't have much depth, and perhaps that lack of depth is why the 4th quarter has been such an issue. They have some games that have certainly gotten away, including last Saturday at home against Oklahoma State when they had the lead in the 4th.
You take that snapshot going into the 4th quarter, and I'm sure he showed this to his team time and time again, saying we have a chance, we have to limit the mistakes, and they've made plenty of them so far this game. But a big opportunity on this drive to try and maybe get the ball in the hands of George Campbell.
Handoff, Lenny Brown. He picks up about 2 to the 40. West Virginia trying to play spoiler here. TCU is the team that needs the win to become bowl eligible. Had West Virginia won last week and held that lead against Oklahoma State, they would have been playing for bowl eligibility as well, but not to be. Instead, this will be their final game.
Now just a lot of pride on the line, and Jared Dagey at quarterback right now. I know it's only his 3rd start in a West Virginia uniform, but he started for 2 years at Bowling Green, threw for over 4,000 yards in his career there. He's got experience in situations in game.
Haven't seen much of TJ Simmons lately for West Virginia. Here's a pass that is caught by Ryan. Sean Ryan, he's going to have a first down up near midfield. Doc has more on TJ Simmons.
Hey guys, TJ Simmons limped off about 4 minutes ago, came to the sidelines, went in the medical tent, they worked on him, he came back in for 1 play, but right before they kicked the field goal, has not been back on the field, basically limping pretty large. He had a foot injury, they were working on a foot, but he has not been back in the game. He is a big loss, one of the leaders as a slot receiver.
Yeah, Doc, he's been banged up, had missed a number of games. This was his 2nd game back, and nursing the injury issues again. Dagey taking a deep shot. He's got James and just overthrows him. James had a step or 2 on Jeff Gladney, and Dagey was just a hair strong with it.
Well, you're not going to get many better looks than that if you're Jared Dagey. These are the ones you've been trying to scheme open. Get your best, most consistent, well, most prolific receiver open down the field. And that's been the difficulty all night. 0-6 on deep shots with 3 interceptions. Jared Dagey is on the night. Just had no level of accuracy on those throws, and it's cost them.
And it's 2nd down and 10. Brown tackled for a loss by O'Shawn Mathis, one of the redshirt freshmen TCU is very high on.
I think he can be one of the next great ones here at that spot, where there's certainly plenty of history. Now 3rd and long again. Got to avoid the disaster if you're Jared Dagey on this one. I'm trying to get the ball in the hands of my running backs on the wide side of the field on a pass play. Let him make someone miss, pick up some yards. Maybe he breaks one. but I'm not giving the ball back to that TCU defense.
Mountaineers 4-10 on third down. A flag at the snap.
Saw the defender come across the line of scrimmage. I'm sure they're talking through whether it's going to be encroachment or whether they saw something from one of the interior offensive linemen before the snap.
Offside, number 90, defense. Jumped into the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's on Ross Blacklock. So it turns a 3rd and 12 into a 3rd and 7. Pushes the ball to the 48-yard line of the Frogs.
And now the playbook changes a little more here. The rollout for your quarterback that you've had a lot of success with is all of a sudden in play towards the open side of the field.
Tagey, a strike right near the marker. That's how Lee Jennings, I think he may be just a little bit short.
And I think you got to go for it here. It doesn't look like Neil Brown's thinking about it all that much, which is great to see.
So it's 4th and 1 from the TCU 42. Going to bring in the big bodies. Michael Laughlin.
Get some big bodies here. Maybe throw a motion in to get the defense thinking. And then hand the ball to Letty Brown. Get him going behind Chase Barrett.
Big play here on 4th and 1. First 4th down play on either side in this game. Shift James up top.
Not going to get it off in time.
Has to use a timeout. That's just their first.
What a play clock expired. Timeout, West Virginia. First of the half.
10 minutes to go in regulation in Fort Worth. From the 42 of the Frogs.
Expect something interesting out of these short huddles. They're going to try and get up to the line quick, probably in an unbalanced formation, and give TCU's defense a lot to look at in a short amount of time.
And West Virginia moved early. Michael Brown jumped early.
Prior to snap, false start, number 57, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Wow, that's a crushing mistake.
Exactly what you expected in this spot. You see the unbalanced line, Michael Brown over there, what becomes still the left guard spot, and just can't hold his water. Now they're punting. Michael Brown has been playing some darn good football for them in their last few games. Didn't play high school football. And now they have to give the ball back with 10 minutes to go in the 4th. What a backbreaker.
Josh Groudon angling it to the near side. Wow, what a punt. It looked like it came out at the 1, and that's the case. The Aussie pinning in TCU, a 45-yard punt. Landed right near the hash and bounced out. What a blow.
For the championship.
And the rematch. Thank you, Matt. And there's TCU from their own 2. And actually lose a yard. Well, Mike, I'll tell you what, we don't know what happened on that 4th down play because of the false start for West Virginia, but the ground punt takes a little bit of the sting out of that, pinning them in, TCU inside their own 2-yard line.
The former Australian rules football star, Josh Groudon, one of 2 26-year-old punters in this game from Australia. Bails them out big time, and now that West Virginia defensive line that loves to live behind the line of scrimmage, both Stills brothers in the game, 55 and 56.
And the ball at the 1. With Alana Liu at the back. Duggan to throw out of the end zone, and he finds Rager at the 12, which should be a 1st down. That gives him some breathing room. That's a big catch for Rager and TCU.
Big time. We saw Rager already leave his mark on this game with the punt return. That time just taking what's given to him. Anytime Akeem Bailey's been off, we've seen those outs toward the sideline be nice, easy, secure throws from Max Duggan.
And Rager's 70-yard punt return touchdown, the difference in the game right now is TCU up 4. Under 9 minutes to play. Lua uses a stiff arm to pound his way up to the 19-yard line. And a gain of 7. Coming up tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN and the ESPN app. Heisman hopeful Joe Burrow and number 2 LSU look to stay perfect against Texas A&M at game in Death Valley. 6 Central, 7 Eastern, Texas A&M, LSU on ESPN and the app. Duggan going to hand off. But Darius Anderson spun down and he loses 3 yards. And that Dante Stills on that tackle for loss for West Virginia. I tell you what, the Stills brothers have come to play tonight. Mike Golick Jr.
Father Gary is proud somewhere. The former West Virginia All-American and 9-year NFL veteran watching his younger son, Dante. They think he can really be going forward the best pro prospect of the two. Doing a great job just knifing underneath the block there, getting vertical and making a play.
7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss combined between the Stills brothers so far tonight. Let's see what TCU, what they can do on 3rd down and 6. It's a Duggan pass. Rager at the 24, and he should have enough for a first down. 2nd time already on this drive for Rager to get a first down catch. That's a gain of 7.
Duggan and this offense have done such a great job using the snap count as a weapon to see where the pressure's coming from. And now he knows he can go to the other side and fits it in a tight window there just over the outstretched arms of Jared Bartlett, the freshman linebacker.
Well, first down for the Frogs from their 24. Lua. Reuben Jones is the one that wraps him up for no gain.
The Stills brothers are both great, live behind the line of scrimmage as we've talked about, but you don't have a lot of depth, and the production from the end spot, Jeffrey Pooler, Reuben Jones and company, hasn't been great. And so what do? You manufacture it like that. You blitz a linebacker, you fold your defensive end around, you create confusing looks for the offensive line.
Light rain falling. Duggan, pressure picked up for now. Now he's in trouble. And sacked back at the 21 by Shea Campbell. Loss of 4. Doc with more.
Yeah, they talk about how the Stills brothers are really good players, but they are going to be great players. And the reason they're going to be that way is because they are given, they are being coached very, very hard on the sidelines. Defensive line coach Dan Sharp has been all over Dante Stills a couple of times tonight because he's supposed to set the edge on the reverse, and he got sucked inside, and they got some yards. He's been basically teaching these guys and chewing them pretty hard, but that's how you get better, right? I mean, you make a mistake, the coach makes sure you know about it.
We were talking to Vic Koenig last night, and he credited their D-line coach with the work he's done, the handwork especially, making these guys better technically sound players.
Duggan throws it far side, flag out. Up to the 25, a good 10 yards short of the first down was Tay Barber.
Looks like we might get a block in the back maybe on X-Ray Low.
We'll see about the penalty, which if it's against Lowe, would be a big blow for West Virginia trying
Personal
to get off the
foul.
field here.
Chop block, number 56 and 69. Offense, half the distance to the goal. West Virginia
Myers
will
and
decline the
McMillan
penalty. 4th down.
Called for the chop block. And it will be 4th down. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. A must-have for Big 12 fans. It's the exclusive home for the weekly Les Miles All-Access Show. Plus, you'll get more than 50 men's basketball games and hundreds of other Big 12 games, including women's hoops. You can sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Jamie Dixon, the men's coach for TCU, came up at halftime, visited with us. Good to chat with Coach.
Excited about the start of their season, getting to play USC coming up here soon. Test out a nice new arena.
Sandy's punt taken at the 39. Sinkfield immediately hit there. A good starting field position for West Virginia. 4:47 to play, and Fort Worth 17-13 Frogs. Let's take a look at today's hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth Trading Company. Special teams played a big part today here, Mike.
Absolutely. Jalen Rager, who already had a punt return on the year against Kansas, that time makes a couple of miss, beats the entire punt return net, and once he gets into the open field, that is why he was voted by the players preseason at Big 12 Media Days the fastest player in the conference.
His second punt return touchdown of the season. Also had one against Kansas. First one since 2009. Jeremy Curley for TCU to have multiple punt return touchdowns. This game's certainly still in doubt. 4:47 to go. TCU needing a win to become bowl eligible. West Virginia ball. Letty Brown picks up about 2 to the 41.
And this is the chess match that's been fun to watch all night. Gary Patterson, we know, essentially the defensive coordinator on TCU side. You see him almost on the field as a 12th player half the time. And Neil Brown, the West Virginia head coach and coordinator.
Daggy fires a strike, and that's caught by Sam James. Pulled down about 3 yards short of the line to gain. Doc.
Yeah, Neil Brown got this job because he had the ability to do more with less at Troy. He won 31 games his last 3 years at Troy, including pulling off some big upsets. He broke LSU's home win streak of 49 against non-conference opponents. He beat Nebraska at Nebraska last year and almost beat Clemson at home. They lost by 4 points, and Clemson went on to win the national title.
You can certainly see why they wanted him in Morgantown, no doubt. Here's a pass, stopped short. Ben Wilson able to pull down Brown about a yard shy of the first down. 4th and 1. Clock running.
Ben Wilson, who played before, got picked on. They were able to get Sam James, their great wide receiver, on him in coverage and get a big chunk of yardage. That time again, going back to the well with Letty Brown. But Ben Wilson doing an outstanding job of getting out there and making a sure tackle. Easy call to go for it here on 4th down.
Here we go in Fort Worth. A big 4th and 1 for West Virginia. Daggy overthrows it. There comes the flag. James was tripped up. The reason that ball was so overthrown, he got tangled up with the defender. And West Virginia is going to get a first down via penalty.
This is an easy one to see. Jeff Gladney.
Pass interference, number 27. Defense, spot foul, automatic, first down.
Gladney, number 12, at the top of the screen here. As soon as you see that jersey yank right there, it becomes the easiest call in the world for an official.
So a first down for West Virginia from the 48. Kennedy McCoy checks in as the back for the Mountaineers. First down play for Daggy. Going to dump it off to McCoy. And a nice open field tackle and a loss of a couple of yards thanks to Garrett Wallow.
Linebackers and DBs have responded for TCU. We remember in the first half, that was about the only source of offense West Virginia had. An athletic group running around making plays.
Right to the line. They had to wait for James to get back. Daggy, pressure, throws too high, incomplete in the direction of Esdale, who was very well defended by a couple of defenders. Blacklock had the pressure going on Daggy.
And Ross is frustrated. He thought he was getting held, and quite frankly, I know as a former member of the offensive line community, I'm not supposed to give us up, but I believe him on that one. Chase Barron, he gave him the arm over, holding on for dear life. And now we get to a 3rd and long for West Virginia. Let's see if they'll look to Simmons in the slot there again.
Wallow's got 11 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. Here's a big 3rd down and 12 for the Mountaineers. Here comes the house. Daggy fires, batted around, incomplete. Esdale, the intended receiver, a flag back where Daggy delivered the pass.
I think a frustrated Ross Blacklock may have just given them another first down via penalty.
Foul. Roughing the passer with targeting, number 90, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, Automatic, first down. Previous play is under further review.
So not only the personal foul, but targeting is going to be looked at as well. Let's take a peek.
See 90 in black coming right up the middle. That's probably going to get him ejected. Again, what we're looking for there, forcible contact from a launch, crouch, lowering of head, or leading with the helmet and forearm. That time you see a lead with the helmet, and then checking off the second box. Is it using the crown of the helmet? That part just above the forehead, and you saw him dip right at the end there.
Well, if this targeting call is upheld, and again, this game is not over, but if TCU were to win it, Blacklock would be ineligible to play in the first half of a bowl game for TCU if this targeting call holds.
TCU familiar with this. Again, Jeff Gladney.
The ruling on the field for targeting is confirmed. Number 90 has been disqualified.
Yeah, that one was pretty easy. It met all the parameters as you laid out, Mike. And a big loss as they lose Blacklock, who really, it seemed like, was starting to find his stride here in the second half after a quiet first half, Mike.
He was. Plenty of plays in the backfield by this D-line, led by those interior defenders between him, Corey Bethley, Terrell Cooper. And a couple of first downs by way of yellow flag for this West Virginia offense. Getting in position. Now you just need one play, and unfortunately TCU's defense, the backbreaker for them, has been giving up the big play really all season long.
First down, Mountaineers. Number 35 at TCU. Rush 4. Daggy throws incomplete off the hands of Sean Ryan. As Julius Lewis had the coverage behind him. Well, clock stops with 2:18 to go, Mike. I'm not going to say a field goal doesn't do them any good, but it doesn't really do them much good. They need a touchdown here.
No, this is 4-down territory. This is going towards the end zone. It's all gas, no brakes from here on out.
Daggy taking a shot towards the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Isaiah Esdale! And West Virginia's an extra point away from taking the lead. An over-the-shoulder catch for Esdale, and snuck in the end zone right near the pylon.
What an unbelievable catch and throw. Getting just a step on him, puts it right in. And you see that front foot hit the inside of the pylon before any part of him lands out of bounds. This is going to stand. They've been 0 for 6 on deep balls with 3 interceptions going into that play.
And Daggy hits at the ideal time for West Virginia fans.
You get a couple of gifts from those penalties and you understand you got to capitalize. Doing it in a big way there.
So a huge extra point coming up to try to make it a 3-point game. TCU's got all 3 of their timeouts. There's 2:10 to go here in regulation. Wow, what a catch for Isaiah Esdale. His first touchdown catch of the year comes in a huge spot for the Mountaineers. Staley's extra point. That is up and through and makes it a 3-point game. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Well, this season, Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like these by awarding the Live Boss Student Section of the Year. The TCU Horned Frog Student Section is already on the national watch list. You can go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete or get the committee's attention by using hashtag LiveMoss Student Section Contest. 35-yard touchdown catch for Isaiah Esdale. 2017 West Virginia. TCU needing a win to become bowl eligible.
What a great test for your freshman quarterback now. Max Duggan, true freshman, 2-minute drill with the game on the line and a chance to go bowling.
It's going to bounce. This is Rager. And they're going to say he stepped out of bounds. at the 20, and Rager's fortunate the way that ball was bouncing around to even get it out to the 20.
That is making chicken salad out of chicken you know what.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not what you want for Thanksgiving on the menu.
I understand being creative with leftovers as well as anybody, but.
All right, your TCU, you start from your 20. You have all 3 of your timeouts. You need at least a field goal to try to send this to overtime. So plenty of time with 2:05 to go and those 3 timeouts. Rushing 4. Duggan, flushed out. Taking a deep shot towards Rager, trying to race to it, but it's overthrown, incomplete. Play was breaking down. Saw his fastest player going downfield. Couldn't connect.
Got to see Sonny Cumbie do something to help his young quarterback out. Standing down there right now, trying to take shots down the field. This West Virginia D-line has been teeing off for much of the second half. Help move the pocket, do something to give him a little added protection.
And a flag at the snap.
False start, number 62. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Right tackle David Balsami called for the false start. Sports Center tonight after South Florida UCF with Bucci and Michael Leaves. They'll break down Giannis and the Bucks' quest for 10. Plus, LeBron and the Lakers going for 10 in a row, too. And we sit down in the film session with Buckeye star defensive end Chase Young. Sports Center after college football on ESPN and the app later tonight.
Story for TCU going to be penalties here. 9 penalties for 64 yards now, and most of them either pre or post snap.
Going to run with it. Duggan. He's going to be close, but about 2 yards short of the first down to the 28 after a 13-yard run.
Perfect play call to get you into a manageable third down and just keep the chains moving at this point. You've got plenty of time.
Third down at 2. Duggan dumps it off. Olanolua needed to gain the 30 for the first down and does so. Clock stops with a minute 27 to go as he stepped out of bounds.
Minute 30, full complement of timeouts at your own 33. These are situations you drill during training camp all the time. And that was when Max Duggan started jumping out to this coaching staff that not only can he be a guy that plays at this level, but he can be a starter for this team. And that's when you show them that that confidence is well earned.
Duggan, deep shot for Rager. Batted away. Extremely good defense. Hakeem Bailey as the ball hung up long enough for Bailey to catch up and bat it away.
Hakeem Bailey, probably their best cover corner. Step for step with one of the fastest guys in college football. Both being physical at the top of that, letting them play.
Second and 10. Clock stopped, a minute 19 to go. Again, TCU still has the full allotment of 3 timeouts at their disposal.
Max Duggan runs, still in play.
Duggan fires. No flag, incomplete. That was Sean Mahone. He was able to punch that right as it got to the intended receiver.
We know West Virginia all game has been in a lot of 4 down front, but now playing coverage, you've got 3 down defensive linemen. We talked with Gary Patterson yesterday. One of the biggest things that can hurt a 3 down front is the quarterback run, whether that's scrambling or design play.
Bringing 4, Duggan in trouble, hit as he throws, dropped by Rager, and it's going to be 4th down in the game, possibly on the line. And they do have all 3 of their timeouts, but Noah Guzman will break it up. There is a West Virginia player, Jared Bartlett, slow to get up. So we'll take a timeout. 4th down coming up for TCU. True freshman Jared Bartlett, who's playing in his 4th game, so they'll redshirt him this year. He's off the field under his own power. They do have all 3 of their timeouts, Mike, so it doesn't mean the game is on the line here, but it would go a long way and giving West Virginia a win on the road here if they're able to stop them.
For a team that's had a difficult time picking up chunk yardage in droves, I'd say you're looking at Jalen Reagor, number 1 at the bottom of your screen here.
4th and 10. Line to gain is their own 43-yard line. Duggan looking Reagor's way. He's going to throw down the far side. Caught! No, incomplete. Had it for a moment. Nick Roy Fortune able to bat it away at the last moment. And TCU turns it over on downs.
An incomplete pass. Ball turned over on downs.
Dante Davis was the receiver.
Had it in there.
Aldontre Davis and Fortune at the last second.
Got to give Nick Troy Fortune a lot of credit, keeping that arm in there, maybe doing just enough to jostle it loose. The true freshman, one-on-one, singled up on the other side of the field. They motion Tay Barber away, they get him isolated. And man-on-man, he gets the play that West Virginia needs to likely seal this game.
And keep in mind, Fortune's been playing because Keith Washington got hurt earlier in the game.
It's an incomplete pass. Previous play is under further review.
And now they're going to take another look. I don't think there's any question it's an incomplete pass. But with the gravity of the situation in the game on the line, they're going to take the time to take a look at it.
Maybe see if he had control long enough. Well, they're reviewing to see if there was targeting.
Oh, that's what they're looking at, is a possible targeting on Duggan. Shamik Black, I should say, from Reuben Jones. As Duggan came up kind of holding his helmet. From the angle we saw, tough to tell if there was any targeting.
In this instance, I don't really think so, just because we didn't see one of the first things we talk about. There's a couple of indicators there. And at least from the angle that we have, it's hard to see a true lowering of the head, any sort of thrust or launch. There's not a violent action. That's usually first part of checking off one of those indicators before you get to, was it with the crown of the helmet? Was it a defenseless player?
I'm interested to see this angle here. And I didn't see any targeting from that backside. This is initiated by the replay booth. There was no flag on the field. So it's initiated by the booth, and there would have to be clear targeting for them.
After review, there's no foul for targeting on the quarterback. It's going to be first down, West Virginia.
How about West Virginia's D-line in this second half? 9 quarterback pressures, 6 hits, and 2 sacks. This unit, the difference in the game tonight.
Well, TCU under Gary Patterson has been bowl eligible in 16 of his 18 seasons. This is season 19. The only time they have not made a bowl under Patterson was 2004. And they were in Conference USA in 2013, which was their second year in the Big 12. A run for Brown. TCU with 3 timeouts will use their first to stop the clock with 59 seconds left. And we step aside quickly in Fort Worth. Well, part of the reason that Gary Patterson's team's trying to become bowl eligible with the win here tonight is they've lost 5 of their 6 losses have been by a touchdown or less, and this might be the 6th time.
Got to be able to finish. It's the hallmark of great mature football teams to have that poise going into those moments. How about 4 of those losses to the 4 current ranked Big 12 teams? They've been right there with the best of the best.
As long as they don't give up a first down, they're going to get the ball back. That's a Brown run for 3. They use their second timeout with 55 seconds left. And again, we step aside. Well, year 1 for Neil Brown has involved a lot of fourth quarter games that they've been tight or even led, like last week at home against Oklahoma State, and not been able to win. Is this going to be the exception to that? Trailed by 4. This fourth quarter, have a 3-point lead, but they're able to get a first down right here. That'll seal the game. If not, there is still a chance for TCU, needing just 3 points, to try to send the game to overtime. 3rd and 4. And now West Virginia will use a timeout.
You mentioned West Virginia down the stretch of the season.
Second and a half, 30 seconds.
And their close games going into fourth quarters. Just the mental toughness considering the skid they were on. They've lost 5 straight games in the middle part of this season. And then all of a sudden you get a big win versus Kansas State in the first start for Jared Dagey. And then you get a single-digit loss to Oklahoma State last week. And now if you could cap it off with a win here, certainly helps build momentum. You won't have the bowl practices, but when you get back on campus for that offseason program, you start to ride that wave and say, we can build on all of this as we begin year 2, where there's a little less of the learning process for Neal Brown.
3rd and 4 upcoming. Now the key play for West Virginia in this fourth quarter is the touchdown catch. Isaiah Esdale of 35 yards over the shoulder, hits the pylon. Good catch. Touchdown. Play of the game right now for West Virginia. It's giving them the lead. But here's their 3rd and 4. First down would clinch it for West Virginia, but Brown is tackled for a loss. Loses 3. TCU will use their final timeout.
Timeout. TCU. Last of the half.
There's still 51 seconds left. Now, if you're West Virginia, the question here is, you're at the 31. Do you want to try to kick a field goal? Who knows what can happen there, Mike? Or do you try to go for it on 4th down, but it's 4th and 8? So they have a chance to talk about this after TCU has just burned their final timeout.
In this situation, I'd probably keep the offense on the field. Like you said, risking a block if you trot the field goal unit out there. Try to minimize it at that point. Obviously, you allow TCU to still go down and tie it should they drive the length of the field here instead of trotting the field goal unit on there.
Yeah, you'd be looking about a 48-yard attempt. So they're going to leave the offense on the field and give it another shot on 4th down. Again, the line to gain is a 23. So again, an opportunity for West Virginia with a first down to ice the game. If not, TCU is going to get the ball back. Simmons in motion. Fake the handoff. Dagey taking a shot towards James in the end zone. Just out of reach. Incomplete. Wow, they got very aggressive on the 4th down play. Just needed a first down to ice the game and went for a touchdown.
Underthrown it for an interception there could have been the best case scenario. You get a nice arm punt in that situation.
Right. That might have been on their mind the way things are going tonight. But TCU's going to take over at their own 31. Jonathan Song is money from inside 40 yards for TCU. If it's farther than that, we would see Griffin Kell. TCU needs a field goal to send this thing most likely to overtime and a touchdown to win. Duggan, Rager, all the way up to the 49. First down. Clock stops to move the chains.
Get up to the line, get it in the dirt.
Stops the clock with 37 seconds to go.
And we're trying to set it all up for the leg potentially of Griffin Kell, another true
operator.
freshman.
Here's the set the game clock. 37 seconds. 3-7.
I'm going to add another second on, 37 seconds. Well, Song's kicked a 30-yarder tonight. So Song has hit 39 of his last 40 in his career from 40 yards and in. So he's money from 40 and in.
But you see Kell warming up also, and he's their long yard. He's 3 of 4 on the year. His only miss was a 57-yarder. He's hit from 47 and 52.
Yeah, hit 52-yarder against Texas. Duggan. Incomplete. Well, when that ball left the hand, thought for a moment perhaps Tyke Smith had a chance to pick that off, and then Rager had an opportunity at the end, I should say, Barber, to try to catch this.
We've seen this sideline route work a few times, so close really on both ends there. Duggan doing a good job of putting the ball where only his guy can get it, just out of the reach of Tay Barber.
Either of the field goal kickers would love to get a chance. Bring it 4. Duggan, low throw, incomplete, 4th down. So now to extend the game, they need to get the ball at least to the 41 of West Virginia to extend it.
We saw last time in this situation, it was Aldontre Davis, the guy they chose to isolate at the top of the formation. As we see the same crew down here with number 1 Jalen Reagor and 4 Tay Barber on the same side.
Well, it's not only game on the line, it's season on the line for TCU. They need a win to become bowl eligible.
Got to go to your best player in number 1.
Reagor at the bottom of your screen. A flag stops the play. We've had a number of these right at the snap. Looks like a false start going against TCU is going to add another 5 yards to
Before
this.
the snap, false start, number 68, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
On the left tackle, Anthony McKinney.
You can feel the angst in here. You saw Duggan working his way up in the middle of the pocket and downfield. Jalen Reagor was getting ready to break in that deep dig. Would have had a great chance at him in the middle of the field.
Well, it's 4th and 15. Again, game on the line and season on the line for TCU. Duggan in a crowd. And West Virginia is going to get the win on the road in Fort Worth. Darius Stills just about had Duggan wrapped up, threw it as he was going to the ground. And TCU season, just like West Virginia's, is going to end here tonight in Fort Worth.
Great job with the interior twist. You see the 2 D tackles. A stunt that brings number 56, Darius Stills, one of the 2 most productive members of that D-line, along with his brother Dante. Just a great wrinkle on the interior. He does a great job getting upfield and finishing.
Both these teams are going to finish 5 and 7 overall. And 3 and 6 in conference. West Virginia pulls it off in the 4th quarter, Mike, and wins this game and ends TCU season.
Neil Brown gets to go into the offseason now riding high, and for Gary Patterson and a very young TCU defense, a lot of work to do that I'm sure they're excited about.
2017, West Virginia wins at TCU. For Mike Gola Jr., Dr. Jerry Punch, and our entire crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks for sharing this one with us. Let's get you to College Football Countdown.